yeah. We're here with Stephen Wolf or Shagwell. What are we?
Steve Shagwell. It's not a big secret that my real name is Stephen Wolf. Steve Shagwell was just this douchey thing I came up with.
I love it. I thought it was
why not? Why not have why not lean into a joke when you have like a a satire type thing? So
and then I turned the S's into dollar signs to make it douchier.
Yeah, buddy.
Why not?
I couldn't make it any douchier than that. I mean, if anybody has any ideas, I'm all ears because douchey is my thing.
Sometimes like leaning into the cringe works.
Yes, it does.
It really works sometimes. So here we are at episode 74, fresh off a weekend at ICT Fest.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was. We were there all day Saturday. So
it was exhausting. Oh my God! It was like we had 3.5 hours worth of footage somewhere.
What I couldn't comprehend is how the fuck did we do 2 days of that shit the year before? Because we
were younger.
Not really.
Yeah, not really. Huh?
I mean, we were, but fuck, like I was cooked by the end of that day.
Man, I really was too.
But shout out to Matt and Teresa for letting us be a part of that. Roger Day Productions. I appreciate them. It looks
a lot of great interviews. Thanks for all the talent.
We really got this year. I mean, we really roped in just about everybody that played for the most part. So look out for that content coming. It'll probably be out a bit long before this episode comes out. But I know we promised a bunch of people interviews, so get with me because I'm not going to remember everybody I told that you can come do the show. I'm sure I told that. By the end of the night, I was like, anybody can come on.
You're the best bartender ever. You should come on the show.
You walk by perfect. You could be on the show.
Yeah,
but
I really like your hair. You should come on the show.
But it's also great to learn that we learned that Maurice Anthony's taking that over.
Yeah. So, super cool guy.
Yeah, and he's a big part of the cookie store.
The cookie store is dope.
Yeah, so the cookie store is dope.
Learned a little bit about what that was.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it, and I learned a lot about it. They got a lot of cool artists there, and it's kind of like their own collective.
And I'd heard of some of the artists, but I hadn't heard of the cookie store.
Yeah, I've heard of almost all the artists. I've heard of almost all the artists. I didn't know they were like...
I didn't know they was collabing.
I didn't know they had a gang with like shirts and shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be part of that gang. That game seems cool.
They have handshakes.
Yeah, dude, I'm feeling like we're on the outs of it. I'm trying to get inside.
Secret passwords.
Yeah, but shout out to everybody who came and supported ICT Fest. They're going to move on with that again next year. Maurice Anthony's already said that we can definitely be a part of it, so we'll be out at Wave again. Shout out to all the staff at Wave, the managers, the bartenders, the sound people, and everybody.
Even the security was dope as shit.
Everybody was super nice.
Everybody was cool.
Always fun, and all the other vendors that were there. The only thing I was a little disappointed in, and I just got to say it, no
food trucks. Food trucks, man.
Austin was out there drinking.
Yeah, that would have been
about 7:00. Well, there's supposed to be a few food trucks. I even thought one of my favorites is going to be there. But there was a food truck sitting out there that nobody ever came to run at one point. So I was looking over there like 8:00, like, Aaron, should we go break into that food truck and make some food? Because it was just sitting over there by itself.
About 8:00, that was looking like a good idea, too. Because we needed something to soak up that alcohol. We've been out there since like noon.
What kind of sadist puts an empty food truck outside of...
Well, I think they had run it the day before at the same spot, and then it just apparently did not show up on the Saturday. And the Saturday was the way better day. It was a pretty good turnout out there, especially with all the other shit that was going on. Because you were at Metal Fest,
Northern Wisconsin Metal Fest.
Yeah, you were at So and we'll get into that in a second.
She's on metal.
So let's give a quick shout out to Sacred Leaf and all they do for us. Kirby's. Party Rockerz ICT, Wichita by EB, we appreciate you. And,
always.
And Fert the Foodie's episode's coming next week, and Wichita by EB, he's looking forward to seeing that. And PK Pest Management, I'm throwing my shit in there too, so if you need anything.
Go ahead.
Also, there's a show at Temple the 23rd. I'm helping Justin Dundas promote that. There's going to be Ghost Rock. It's going to be... God, I don't have the flyer.
Sage Judd and Friends.
Sage Judd and Friends. And
Estrada Brothers.
Yeah, and there's one more person on there, too, and I'd have to look it up. I need to. I'll try to look it up here in a sec. A real prepared way to go, Austin, on that one.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
But we just talked about it the other day, and they gave us, and we got a ticket to it, so we kind of promised we're going to be there, so you get to come with me.
Yeah.
So, and right now, the Aaron and Austin show is looking for new sponsors. So we actually are going to, we got with Norton's Brewing Company while we were out there. I'm going to try to have them on for a full show, so that'd be fun. I'd love to get them as a sponsor. So any restaurant, venue, anybody, I don't care if you're making fucking stickers or T-shirts or whatever it is, and you wanna put your logo up on a show,
if you're a huge corporation that needs a write-off like Cargill or something like that.
Yeah, if you're one of those, if you're like Wichita Eagle or whatever, you want to just kick us some money.
If you got piles of money that you need to burn for tax purposes.
Yeah, we always need new shit, and we're always trying to go to new festivals. And if there's and
I'm good at spending money.
And if there's any events around town, we're really starting to get integrated into the events that are going on in Wichita. I'm trying to work an angle to get into Zubilee with the show. I'd like to like they have that big car show, Automobilia. I would love to podcast at that. Like
Taco Fest,
like all that stuff. Like any of the, if you're know any of the administrators or the people that run those things, and they're interested in a couple of bearded, long-haired guys coming out there and fucking talking shit for a day, we would love to do it.
Well, help us grow, man. A rising tide floats all boats, and Wichita needs it right now.
And we are like we said, and
amen.
We've done a lot of things great and a lot of things not, but we are here for the local artists in this town. That sentiment has not changed a lick. We are still pumping out and helping every artist and every record company and we don't have no lines we draw. We're here for everybody. So
no agenda. There's no
and we're here for all
political sides.
Well, we're here for all arts. So if you got any of those things you want to help support us, or if we can help support you, or if you have any events that you'd like to have us come set up a booth at, we absolutely love doing that. So let's hit this graphic real quick, and then we'll get to everything your band fucking sucks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Johns, okay? And so you get to the elbow room sometimes, you just be like, okay, there's fucking 5 Johns here. This is Council of Johns.
The one who looks like Jesus is John Hanson.
Yeah. And he dresses like
him.
fucking
he's
Jesus.
He's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah.
I love that guy, man. He's just a character.
Shout out to John Hanson. He's awesome. I've known him.
He's such a fucking character,
God, I've known him.
And I've
just ran into him at shows for 20 fucking years in this town. For the most
and he always shows up for me, man. Whatever I'm doing, he always shows up.
That's
man.
nice.
He's a good dude,
nice?
man.
I mean, there is a pretty supportive cast of folks in this town that do show up for just about everything if you really need them, which is nice.
Yeah.
So are we waiting for Goofball to get back down there? Because
I'm hoping he tells us at least when he's ready.
Yeah. Well, it's still with all this we can still have. It ain't like we can't.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, just because we fixed the focus on that shit.
All right, so we're back from graphic.
No, we've been back from the graphic because we ain't gonna cut none of that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I wasn't even there.
I don't know what
you were there.
Edit that part out then.
All right, so
shit.
First off, you can introduce yourself a little bit more, other than the cringy Stephen Shagwell. Is it Shagwell? Shagwell. But
Austin Powers.
Everybody's seen you coming around for forever, because I've seen you at shows as long as I've been going to them in this town. For one, you're hard to miss. How tall are you?
Can't miss him.
7 foot.
Are you right on?
7 foot even. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Well, 6'9"3/4. The guys from Odds Against measured me, and I always thought I was 6'9" because a long time ago I'd been measured by the sheriff's department. I was like, well, that's got to be accurate, right? And,
you would think, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm 6'9" or 6'11" .75". So we just call it 7 foot.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah,
I forever, and we don't have to age you, but I'm 40. I'm about to turn 40, and forever I was like 6'3" .75", pushing 6'4". Now I'm just like right at 6'3", dude. I done compounded my.
Been shrinking over the years.
Yeah, been shrinking a little bit. Putting too much weight on those that spinal cord, shrinking it down. So
well, I almost had my neck broke in an assault once, and I think that's where I may have gone from 6'9" to 6'11".
Is that when did somebody give you like the what the fuck are those things?
They extended
what the
my
fuck
neck.
are those?
They put spacers in.
What are those things, guys?
Yeah.
Rock'em sock'em robots.
Oh,
they hit you and you went full 4 more inches.
Something like that. Yeah. No, the surgery. I think they just kind of like made my spine.
Oh, did they have to fuse some? Did they have to fuse some?
They did some fusing and some spacing. I mean, it was a fucking hot mess.
Oh, that
dude.
sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So how's your mobility? Do you have to turn? Can you turn your full neck, or
I can pretty much. I mean, I can get.
That's
here.
not bad for fusing some discs and shit. That's not bad.
It's because I went really hard at physical therapy, and I go hard at fitness and
nice.
stretching and mobility and stuff. So
that shit's important. I wish I stretched more. That's the one thing that I wish I was.
Well, and you do martial arts is kind of how you go about that.
Samurai martial arts, yeah.
Oh, really?
So
explain that a little bit. You ain't gonna just get away with glossing over that. You fucking swinging some swords on people?
Yeah, so, literally.
So I know, that's what I thought.
And it's crazy that I ran into this, right? Because I came from Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is a martial arts mecca, right? Brock Lesnar trains at an MMA gym there.
Well, and it's one of the best wrestling areas ever. I mean, Minnesota is huge into wrestling, and that just translates into MMA, something terrible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then you have a Gracie-affiliated gym for BJJ. You want Japanese swordsmanship up there. There's an Iaido, which is different from Kenjutsu. It's quick drawing and putting away the sword. There's, like a legit, from Japan, stoic, fucking, he's modern samurai,
That's cool as fuck.
And, whatever you want, Taekwondo, you will find very legit Taekwondo there.
And Taekwondo is still a pretty legit practice.
It is.
Until you get wrestled and punched in the face.
It got commercialized for a while, like karate got commercialized for a while. And it
got exposed, too. I mean...
Well, a lot of the charlatans went away. True karate is pretty fucking deadly. It's no joke. Pretty much any martial art. If you can get to the true form of it, it's pretty goddamn good, The problem is when something gets popular,
not a keto.
A lot of charlatans show up and they open the Mick dojos, and people who don't really want to take the difficult steps to learn actual martial arts properly.
Right.
They show, they market to them.
It's a lot of woo. This is fake breathing and not real fighting, and then you fight somebody who really fights and you get your ass kicked.
Right.
Yep.
So I come from there, right? And I actually trained with at Jin Foon Mark's headquarters for Juk Loom Southern Praying Mantis Kung Fu, right? I was so blessed to have this experience.
If I've ever heard.
Yes, it is. So Juk
How they fit that on a goddamn sign
Juk
outside?
Loom refers to this, there's the monastery in Juk Loom, and the Southern Praying Mantis is a style of Kung Fu, because in Kung Fu, they basically studied animals and emulated them. Juk Loom Southern Praying Mantis Kung Fu is one of the deadliest martial arts in the world, and I got a very pure version of it because the actual Grand Master of that tradition, and he was the last classical Chinese Grand Master of Kung Fu in the country, lived there. This guy taught Bruce Lee, right?
Wow.
Very legit guy. So I came from there, and I was just kind of looking around Wichita, and I was like, holy shit, it's lame here for that, And I was talking to a girl I knew, and I just mentioned, it sucks. I can't find any real martial arts. She was like, I got a guy. And so I found out this guy has been sitting on two very legit Japanese sword traditions. One is a cavalry tradition that has been meticulously maintained and preserved from the Warring States era of feudal Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, I went out there, and I mean, it's old school as fuck. I mean, I was sitting in freezing lakes. I wound up in the
where did you do this at?
Here in Wichita, we'd go to outdoor locations.
Okay.
He trains us in outdoor locations because when you get into an actual fight, the ground is going to be uneven. There's going to be you'll probably be in a parking lot.
You're not going to be in a fucking dojo.
Right.
You're not going to be in a dojo. I mean, it's just
there can be potholes. There can be curbs to trip over and all kinds of stuff. So, he puts us in that. And every year we do misogi. We sit in a freezing lake. It's just a lot of very austere old school stuff, and I've hurt myself badly doing this stuff. I spent 5 days in the hospital over Christmas one year after completing an ordeal that we had.
Did you get fucking hypothermia or some crazy shit, or did you hurt?
No, I actually tore the muscles in my arms, which caused creatine to flood my system, and my kidneys were shutting down.
Oh man!
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
I went into the ER because a nurse friend told me, go to the ER. This is really serious. And I'm like at the ER. I'm like, I'm kind of embarrassed, but a nurse told me to come in, and they're like, oh yeah, you could die, so we're gonna admit you.
Hey, first off, don't be too tough to go to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Because that's how we'll lose some friends that way. You know, some guys sit there too tough. If your fucking heart hurts or something weird's going on, take your ass in there.
Yeah.
Just a little little PSA there. So when did you make the transition from Minneapolis to here?
So that was in 2015. I came to Wichita because my buddy Jack Sandberg, who was like a childhood mentor of mine, he owns Horrorwood Haunted Attraction, which hasn't done anything in recent years, but was pretty big around here because he's a legit special effects artist, and he'd create these ultra realistic haunts, usually in Hutchinson, and they were big too. And
Like out in the kind of like a live action haunted house type thing? Or?
Yeah, it's basically like walking through a horror movie, or different horror movie scenes, if
God,
you
that
will.
shit would. I feel like you could do that all year round. People are so fucking in love with the Halloween shit.
Oh God, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are. Boy.
Well, we like to be scared.
Yeah.
There's a drug there that we like.
Well, it's an endorphin rush for
Yep.
being scared. I get it, but it's not my thing. I like haunted houses and shit, but
So I was actually reading that anxiety, like if you have high anxiety, watching scary movies is good for you.
Really?
Yeah, it'll help lessen
calm
your
you down a
anxiety.
little bit?
Yeah.
That tracks with my personal experience, actually.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I never thought about it, but yeah.
So I was reading an article about that.
Well, that tracks with a lot of people that I know that Aaron just outed all of you that love horror movies.
Yeah. Well,
seems to be the high anxiety crowd.
yeah, but the movie somehow presents anxiety with a disassociation from yourself. So you get to experience this anxiety in a total safe manner. So
I get that
That makes perfect sense.
See, I get that comforting effect
acclimate
from,
a little.
I get that comforting effect from true crime documentaries about real.
So that's.
But you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the horror movies, not a big fan. True crime documentaries about really shit that happened, I like a lot, and it curbs my anxiety.
You can probably be like, well, at least it didn't happen to me.
Yeah. At least I didn't kill that girl.
Well, it's just interesting
Yeah,
that
right.
it's just interesting when it's
Is
real.
that what you're trying to say right now?
Well, no, it's just interesting when it's real. Because the fucking fake movies dialogue in horror movies is always really bad.
Yeah, you're right.
So and
Tends to be.
And me as a writer and a person that likes lyrics and dialogue the most, that's a really hard genre for me to get down with because
Right.
it's shit at my favorite thing.
Yeah, a lot of times.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's not, and it doesn't usually include a very big list of A-list actors. It's usually a bunch of bullshit for the most
Well,
part.
yeah.
Right.
So that's a hard genre for me to get with, but I can see how watching scary shit like that does kind of curb anxiety because it does works for me with true crime documentaries for some reason. Fucking weird. All right, people are weird. Honestly.
It quenches your thirst to kill. Is that what you're saying? You don't
I don't want to kill anybody.
no longer need the
No, it seems
blood.
like a lot of hassle. Like I don't want to fucking kill anybody. I gotta fucking you come by and I gotta kill that person that saw. And
Oh my God! Yeah.
And then somebody else. knows
Everybody
it.
with a black light.
Yeah,
No,
This
Jesus. There
just
you
seems
go.
like a fucking hassle. I'd rather just. No. So
I came down because of him, because I reconnected with him, and I have a background education in advertising and media design, and I had done some stuff.
have you ever
And
done any
so-
like horror acting or like you could do like sometimes like guys like us, bigger guys they look for us for like haunted houses and shit like that.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
they love us for shit like that.
That was part of why I came down here, because he's like, well, you could help me promote my haunted house. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll promote your haunted attraction. You saved my life when I was a kid, you gave me a reason to live, and he really brought hope to me. My childhood was so fucked up.
Someone reached out and helped
People
you.
talk about having fucked up childhoods.
such a-
Like mine was just a horrific nightmare. And this man, he was there for me. He saw me when nobody else saw me, and he
Well, can we give him a
allowed
shout
me-
out? What's his name again?
so
Or do we not need to say his name? Maybe not?
Outback Jack
Okay.
is the name he does special effects under.
Okay,
He's
so we don't have to say his full
just
real
a
name.
great Jack Sandberg. He's a great man, just a great dude, talented dude, creative dude. And yeah, so when he asked, of course I came down here. And then of course I'm 7 foot tall. So I was Sato the Clown, the boss battle in the circus portion of the haunt.
Oh, nice.
And
I mean, when you're tall, man, we got a lot of fucking horror things for you.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of cool shit you can do when you got a big tall guy.
And I just wound up not leaving. I'm here, and I planted roots pretty quickly. I mean, Minneapolis had kind of run its course for me. I did a lot of really cool shit there.
And I love Minneapolis.
Oh, God, yeah.
Let's be real.
I'm actually going to see a Minneapolis artist in Lawrence this weekend.
Are you?
Prov from Minneapolis is a hip-hop artist that's going to be in Lawrence this weekend. But I fucking love Minneapolis.
One of the Rhyme Sayers guys. Yeah, Rhyme Sayers, those guys, all of them are great dudes. Atmosphere Slug.
Underrated, too. Underrated musicians, too, for sure.
Underrated musicians, and just, again, Slug was just such a great guy, and he was kind of like the point man on all of that, and just I knew him because I worked at First Avenue as a bouncer and all this stuff, and they were doing a weekly showcase there, and I mean, he's a great guy, and the Rhyme Sayers are pretty awesome dudes.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice to get some insight. I had a feeling since you were from there, you'd have some insight, because Minneapolis, allegedly went there to purchase some things when I was a younger gentleman. But
mostly antique carnival glass.
Yes.
That's what I think it was.
Antique carnival glass. But I found out that Minneapolis was a pretty tight-knit community, actually. It's a pretty cool fucking place.
It's still Midwest. It's still cool.
Like, I really had a lot of fun there. Shout out to Mickey. If Mickey's watching this, I had a buddy named Mickey that lived in Minneapolis.
And Minneapolis has so much great music. Like, pick your scene, you'll find great music there.
It kind of reminds me of like a northern Austin.
Bro, Prince was from there.
Yeah.
Prince was from there.
Yeah, right?
Now,
and stayed there. Loved it.
Now, for metal, it is the mecca of the United States.
Really?
I mean, there is just so
That's pretty much
many
where
bands,
any white people are at.
and they are so fucking ridiculously talented.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like there's just so much talent in death metal and thrash metal.
Is there any big bands from that area you want to give a shout out to give shine an eye on?
Well, I'm wearing Synopsis's shirt, and they are just so crushingly heavy. It's like traditional death metal that borders on doom metal. It's just so fucking heavy, dude.
I say we just create a whole new metal genre every week or so, because this is so many to keep up with these days.
There is a lot. There's a lot. And how do you define it? It's so
that's
objective,
really my biggest.
Well, that's the thing about metal. It's so creative that you can hear damn near anything in it. I mean, pick an instrument. I guarantee somebody's using it in metal. Bagpipes, yep. Flute, yep.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
keyboard.
Hang drum.
What? The hang drum?
But yeah, I will tell you, people need to look at Minneapolis bands, and it's been that way for a long time. You will find so much talented stuff. I mean, I'm just trying to pull names out. There's Agony Reigns.
What's weird about it?
Awesome thrash metal band.
Fuck yeah.
They don't. It seems like the Minneapolis area is great. The music it stays kind of in their area. Like, it doesn't get as much recognition as it deserves. I don't feel like.
No, it really doesn't. And it's kind of cool when you go there and you check out the metal bands. It's kind of like you're finding your own little secret thing that you get to enjoy.
Yeah, it is.
And the rest of the world doesn't really know about.
That's how I felt about Prov forever. He's been one of my favorite hip hop artists for a hot minute, and then everybody's starting to catch on. Like, God damn it! Fuck.
All right. So I got to call this out here real quick. All these bands that you're giving some props to.
Mm-hmm.
You have a website called Your Band Sucks.
I do.
Now,
and that's the main thing I'm known for, and that's why you guys brought me here. And
I love it.
We love you.
I watch it. And
you're here because you're awesome. You didn't even have to have.
You always have so much stuff going on. It's a no-brainer episode. It's like, let's go.
Shit, easy.
Let's go.
Chalk it up. But so kind of was the Your Band Sucks something that you were doing before you came here, or did it start since you've been here?
No, I actually. So once I moved here, I had a lot of friends from the metal scene, because I was actually, a pretty big figure in that scene. I was in a bunch of bands, and I promoted a bunch of shows. I also worked at a nightclub there called The Quest. It was kind of like the Cotillion here, but
nice.
It was smaller, and it was a lot more busy because Minneapolis is a bigger market.
For
And
sure,
was it more
for sure.
centralized in the town too? Probably, right?
Yeah, it was right downtown in the warehouse.
It's like
Anything
it's
go
like
Twin
the, it's like the
Cities.
Grenadier or the Granada.
Granada.
I like to call it the Granada.
Granada.
Yeah, it was a lot
The
like that.
Granasty. The Granasty.
And then I lived right across the freeway. There was like a freeway bridge from that club to where I lived, which was a professional rehearsal studio called the Sound Gallery.
Oh,
Nice.
badass.
The front suite was mine and this guy Beak from the drummer, or he was the drummer in the band called Drool. We had a stage in our living room, and then in the back you had this big room that like 5 bands time shared, local bands, and then when
Nice.
somebody big would come in, they would clear out.
That sounds
and
like the-
turn it over to them. And Korn practiced there on the Sick and Twisted tour when David Silvera hurt his wrist
to
and
be a
couldn't play. They came and
shit.
practiced. Yeah, it was
To
pretty
be
cool.
a fly on the wall in that building, there's probably been some crazy shit go down in that place.
The bottom, it was the 4th floor of this building, and the bottom floor was a strip club. So I had a strip club
Holy
in my
shit.
basement,
Yeah.
right? And just epic parties. I had such epic parties there, and it
So
was just,
let's rewind this for a quick
That's what
second.
you're supposed to do.
Let's
That's
rewind
good
this for a
life.
quick second. This building has a strip club on the main floor. It's
bottom floor.
Bottom floor. In the 4th floor up, you got basically a studio / practice / Airbnb for traveling artists. On one whole studio style floor. Is it a bunch of rooms? Like what's the place look like?
So you had the front room, which was the apartment where myself and Beak lived, and then you had the back room, which was a much bigger room. Korn actually got an entire semi-truck with their back line and shit in there is how big it was.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fuck, how tall was the ceilings in this place? Pretty tall.
Yeah, they were about, I think they were 12 foot tall.
ceilings. Yeah, them like
Yeah.
lofty ceilings in those
You
on the
know.
top of those floors.
Yep.
That's
And-
fucking awesome, dude.
Dude.
That,
Yeah.
you've got to have some stories from that place.
Oh, man. the parties were just epic, you know.
So and was it a
the
short?
women
You said
and
it was.
the booze and-
You said it was across the bridge from at the place where you worked. Was that like a short walk, like across the bridge, or?
2 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
buddy.
I mean, it was like
That's
dude,
badass.
I had my life perfectly set. You know what I'm saying? It was very cool.
Yeah,
So,
that
And then
sounds-
you moved to Wichita.
well, you know, all that kind of came to an end. The sound gallery was sold.
Well,
the
yeah.
Quest closed down.
Nothing good lasts forever, man.
hopefully, was it all COVID tragedies? Or?
I was in a really big regional band.
about 2015 he moved here.
Oh,
so-
that's true. So it was all
Yeah.
predates
Yeah.
COVID. For the most
Yeah,
part.
I was in a really big regional metal band, metalcore band called Hatred, and I mean that fell apart. So it all just kind of like ended. It ran its course,
man,
and
that-
here I am.
That's the way that stuff goes, though. You know, nothing really awesome lasts forever. You know,
No, it doesn't, and you got to just enjoy it.
Well, yeah.
while you can.
Yeah, and some people,
and especially bands. I mean, bands will.
and I will tell that, and you're right too, and it's a lot, and it's a lot that way with relationships and all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, yeah.
When it's over, quit trying to like recreate the shit that it's not. It's not there
Move to
anymore.
the next thing.
Yeah,
Move to the
yeah,
next
keep
cool
pushing,
thing.
Keep pushing. You know, sometimes.
And you have your band sucks.site is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So how did
It's
that?
super
So
awesome.
we're kind of at that point. You've been here for a little bit. How did that come about?
So you know, I'm keeping in touch with all my Minneapolis metal band homies, and through Facebook, and I'd like, you know, just sit at home and drink, and I'd miss my people, and I'd like video chat people.
Yeah, you
like,
miss your
know,
friends, man.
My old guys from This Will Not End Well or whatever, you know. And I posted a thing, give me links to your shit, and I will insult your music. And so
I like the concept. I like
5
the whole
hours
concept.
later, the sun
especially
is
when
up.
especially when it's like agreed upon, like a roast.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
of course.
Yeah.
I love the concept.
yeah.
So 5 hours later, you know, the sun is up, and I'm just having a blast. And I'm like, holy fuck, this needs to be a Twitter account.
It's a whole thing.
this
And
has
then
to
I
be
was
a
like,
thing. This has to
no,
be a thing.
this has to be a website,
Has
and
to be
I
a
need
whole
to
thing.
like, you know, write actual like roasts in bad review format. And like I just kept thinking about it, I was like, this is going to help bands so much because it allows them to put their music out there in a way that is completely different from
Yeah.
all the chatter that they could just blend seamlessly into.
Well, your typical band goes, hey, I'm the best. This is the best shit you're ever going to hear. Please listen to this because it helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and your format
things coming
just
soon.
flips it completely on its head. It's like, no, we suck. You should hear how bad this is. And,
Fuck your band
Yeah,
and this
fuck
is-
my band. Fuck you. Fuck everything. I don't really care.
Well, and how much?
Yeah.
Okay, so I follow the website, but I was going to do a deep dive into it, but I wanted to hear from you first before. How much of it are you giving some constructive criticism / what you think, or is it all just roast and jokes? And
it's all just roast and jokes. And I mean, most of these bands are pretty fucking good, you know, and some are just downright brilliant, you know. I mean, I think the best punk band I've heard in years, the Brash Menagerie. You know, I met them through
What a
Your
great
Band
name.
Sucks.
The Brash Menagerie.
Yeah, they're from Madison, and they're
good.
really good. The singer just has like a voice perfectly built for punk / rock, you know.
The Brash Menagerie.
That by the way,
Brass Menagerie, basically.
by the way, anybody who's into punk, you need to look at Chicago. Chicago is...
I would say look at Chicago for all music. It's another one of those hubs that's my favorite.
But for punk, it is the Mecca right now. There's Rhetoric Vendetta, Slaughter Party, The First Rule, and some of them are more poppy punk, and some of them are more, you know, old school punk, and some are more hardcore punk, but there's a very diverse, flourishing punk scene there with really talented bands.
Oh, same.
It just tickles my gadgets, man.
Same.
I like punk music for some reason.
Tickles your gadgets?
It does. Something about it makes me happy.
Fuck?
It's usually funny. Like it's put together in like Hey Radio. Like how Hey Radio is. Like this shit's funny and it's good. Like for some reason punk is a genre of heavier music that I kind of like.
I'm not much of a punk guy because I like more chunk in my guitars and stuff, you know. It's like, but I support punk. I support all music because if people are out having fun, you know, hey, I'm all for it. And that goes for even really lame bands like Five Finger Fruit Punch and, you know.
Yeah.
Or Death Punch.
Five Finger Fist Fuck, whatever.
People always, why do people hate on them so much?
Because it's easy to do.
If it's easy to do, how come there's not 18 bands of them doing it? They're making a lot of money, it feels like.
Because
I'm saying it's easy to hate on
rock that
it's easy to hate on them.
as metal. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. I don't own any of their
You ever
albums.
see that meme? Like if Five Finger Death Punch was a joint or a blunt, and there's like this little pinner spider leg joint, like just like barely a bull.
God, people hate on that band so much. They get attacked like Nickelback.
They do, but the last laugh's on the haters because that band sells records.
Dude, they're all living in badass houses now.
Avenged Sevenfold's another band that takes it on the fucking chin, and every time they have a show, it's sold out everywhere they go.
Dude, I would take that. I would take that as a bass player now. Okay, like if my band blows up and I'm getting a steady paycheck, and like you want to hate on me, okay, cool. I guess
you're right.
As long as I enjoy playing in that band, that is not selling out to me.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Now, if I hate playing in that band and I'm just like, oh God, really?
I don't know, dude.
I got to go on another tour.
Dude, I do a Pepsi commercial. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'll sell right the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, sell me out.
Music's a little bit different to me. Like,
yeah, it's fair enough.
I don't know that I can do music that I hate.
I don't
like. You know what I mean?
Well, I couldn't do a show that
I love music so much that if I was really like inundated with this bullshit scene, that I'm just like,
yeah, but you're getting $10 grand a week.
Oh my God.
Well, you know,
I don't know.
10 fucking grand a week.
You'd have to offer that to me and see how I end up. I guess I don't know.
I guess it all depends. But I mean, if you had some creative license and you were still making music that you like, I totally agree that you're not selling out. Anyway.
As long as I make music I like, I don't care how much
people will tell you you're selling out just because you're overly popular.
Yeah.
Like
now you're making money.
Yeah, you're popular now. So you started doing this with bands that you already knew from the scene in Minneapolis,
and pretty quick it spread because like some band would see this that I'd done of some band they knew, and they'd be like, "Oh hell, roast me too."
Send you the record,
and that's a brilliant motto because like when you get people to agree to roast and everybody just takes it on the chin, it's really fun.
I love it.
It's really a fun medium. It really is.
And I love watching the reaction videos.
I mean, the reaction videos are fun. These people read it for the first time on camera, and sometimes they're just drunk as fuck. And it's like,
do you get the bands
they're like
to read
kids
their
opening
own
Christmas presents?
Oh, that's like mean
that's
tweets.
The best
like
part.
reading
That's
your
the best part.
Like Jimmy Kimmel's mean
it's
tweets.
A lot like that,
yeah, where you read your own. That's hilarious if you're doing that.
Yeah,
that's
it's
brilliant.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
So that thing was pretty much a hobby of mine, and then I got into my career, and I was working a lot.
Your career being EMS.
This guy's out
EMS,
saving lives.
Yeah.
So were you in? I've been waiting to get to this. Were you involved in EMS work when you were in Minneapolis? Or is this something you took on when you got here?
No, this is something I took on when I got here, and I'll talk a little bit about EMS, but overall, I kind of play that low key outside of my circle of friends. The reason being is Steve Shagwell is an entertainer, and Steve Shagwell also. That foul-mouthed prick has no business being tied to the EMS community.
Okay.
You can keep your work and your social life separate.
I think
but it's
so.
kind of
it's
loosely known that I work in EMS and I am incredibly passionate about it. I started during COVID. So as you can imagine, I was busy because that was a shit show. Like the hospitals were just completely overrun. And resources were stretched very thin.
Thanks for stepping up to help out. I mean, honestly, you don't want to think of it that way, but like people that do what you do deserve a thank you because that's not an easy fucking job to do, and that's not easy something to take up during a time of a pandemic. That's pretty fucking admirable, bro.
It's not an easy job, but I got to tell you, like there is a certain personality that is wired for it. And loves it and thrives, even with all the crazy fucked up shit. And I am that guy. So
my brother actually is that guy out in Utah.
Well, I was saying right before we were talking a little bit about this, and like I always thought that maybe I would because I'm good. I don't panic in situations.
Right.
That's something you need for these things. But then I have a lot of empathy. So when it came to, I was thinking about maybe I could be a cop or a fireman or work EMS, and maybe I'd be okay in those jobs. And then I thought about some of the horrific scenes and shit that those jobs run up on. I don't know if I can fucking handle it. I really don't.
Yeah, for real.
I'm going to tell you, especially since I got into heavy rescue, like I am learning some of this stuff takes. It does take a little part of you.
It does. It have to. You cannot not take that home. Like
you can't unsee certain things.
No, you can't. Man. You cannot fucking unsee certain things, unfortunately. And kudos to everybody that does those type of jobs and gets up the next day and goes and does them again.
I believe there's things that imprint on your.
Well, and
there are
being, and they'll deaden your senses to other shit too a little bit. Like when you've seen it's the nurse effect. Like if you're a nurse like in an ER, like you're immune to a lot of shit. So if you got a kid and they scrape their knee, you're not as sensitive to it. Man, you saw somebody with their fucking leg hanging off yesterday. You're like, come on, man, stand up, you'll be all right. Yeah. So that's
literally a thing people see working in the ER.
You get desensitized a little bit.
And what I'm feeling is that this desensitization kind of came early on, and like this has just been kind of a cool thing you're doing. You now not only are this EMS worker saving lives like on a reel, but you're handling the Valkyries. It's women's abuse, if I'm
for the Valkyries,
wrong. Yeah, for the Valkyries. And so, like, I think you're just putting yourself in that position because you're the guy for it. You're immune to some things. You're desensitized to some traumatic situations.
And incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that because I did a heavy rescue call about 2 weeks ago that really I had a hard time processing that one.
Really?
I bet you're still having a hard time with it. It sounds like you're still having a hard time with it even now.
There are those things, and it's and it's weird because like there are calls that are like a total win, like called out for a code blue baby, delivered a live baby to the hospital, and the baby went home and had a full recovery.
And that's got to be like a really big high, a really big win for you guys, too.
Yeah, but if there's big wins, there's big lows, man.
Yeah, flawless victory. But here's the thing. It's like the going through it, like I still to this day have very emotional moments because of the intensity of that. So, but
you guys got to have some moments when you get home and it's just like, holy shit.
Like there are those there is that every once in a while you come home and like nothing even looks right. You're just like, well, this is my house, it doesn't
but it seems like you like the extremes a little bit.
Well, so the big thing for me is, and like I have seen some heartbreaking shit, like it isn't always a triumph.
No, of course not.
No matter what, I know that I showed up and I gave them a Dungeons & Dragons terminology, I gave them a saving throw. and that's better than they had before I showed up.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, everybody.
there.
I mean, when you have to call an ambulance, and first and foremost, how often do you get to drive the ambulance?
So quite a bit, because I'm an
and can I turn on and hit some lights and buttons on that thing?
So I'm an EMT. My level of care is lower. It's BLS, basic life support, and I ride with a paramedic. And a paramedic is the guy who does all the cool shit. They shock people.
He's got the bag of shit. He's got the bag of shit.
Yeah, they can prescribe all the drugs. So when a patient is critical, it's me driving the ambulance. So I get to drive the ambulance full wee-woo quite a bit.
Quite a bit?
Fuck yeah, dude.
And,
can I run the siren?
You guys got time to pick a brother up sometimes?
Yeah, every once in a while I want to hit a siren.
No, I'll tell you what, we're going fast.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, dude.
She got an extra 10?
Fucking nobody's got time for extra pickups right now. Gas just went up to like $3.79 a gallon today.
Don't even remind me.
Yeah, there's that. It's hard on the budget, but no, it's just like, so yeah, I do a lot of ambulance driving, and my role is to assist the paramedic on the critical calls, and then the lower acuity calls. Like, those are my patients.
Yeah, if you got to like kick a baby back into not being blue, sometimes you got to wake them up a little.
That's more of the paramedic stuff, but I mean, compressions, chest compressions, right. CPR.
I'm first aid CPR trained.
So there's some things that a BLS provider does that's like really intense and is done with critical patients. Bleeding control, that kind of stuff. Right. But so I still get to do some gnarly stuff. Especially in heavy rescue, because I got on the heavy rescue team, and that is where, like, you do the gnarly stuff. That's where you're, like, cutting cars open and getting people out and, stuff like that. Rope rescue, swift water rescue.
Shit.
Yeah.
Because you ever work with, like, Station 4, the fire and rescue guys do confined space entry rescues.
I haven't been certified in confined space yet. I haven't had any training in that.
I worked for sewer maintenance, so I was certified in a ton of confined space.
Well, you'd have to be almost.
Yeah, because any manhole you go into is a confined space.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, it's just one entrance in and out, and fully submersible is a definition of a confined space.
So. I am getting those certifications, but like for now, if we get a confined space rescue, I'm going to be the guy who's grabbing the tools and grabbing the ropes and securing
just don't
lines
go into the space.
Right. Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, fuck a confined space, man. Me and you are not built for confined spaces.
I'm not, and
they're not confined spaces that are for 6'3" and 7 foot guys.
My focus has been vehicle extrication and swift water and rope, mainly vehicle extrication. Awesome. Jaws of life and stuff. So
those jaws of life, I actually unfortunately had a childhood friend wreck his car and they couldn't get him out in time, but they worked really hard to save him, but he just died on the way. But it's amazing to me how powerful those jaws of life things are.
Man.
And how
unreal.
And how kind of like slow and methodical they are too. It's really like an intricate process.
Bro, those aren't even the most powerful tools on a heavy rescue truck.
Okay,
like there's
there's
these balloon things that you can like put under like a collapsed house, or you can put it
to raise some shit up
under a collapsed
house, and they will raise it up.
Oh, that's fucking crazy,
dude!
So if you're looking for somebody in like a collapsed like construction site or something, you can raise some shit up and see if they're underneath or something. So what is the main use of that application?
So I haven't been in a situation where we've had to use those.
God damn, let's create one.
Dude, I want to see them.
What I was told is like you can put it under the corner of a collapsed house and you can push it up.
Well, let's jump on the edge of this building till it falls on John, and then we'll get.
Not my building, man.
Well, fuck, dude.
There's another building.
Well, fuck, dude. We're never gonna get it if we use our own building.
I really want to talk about for the Valkyries.
Yeah, it was a good segue. Yeah. It was a good segue that we passed.
That you
over.
Fucked off. Yeah.
So, no, I didn't say nothing. I let y'all. You said it. You had a perfect segue, and I was sitting here going, "Is this going to take? Is it going to take?"
And
it's
perfect timing to talk about that as far as where For the Valkyries is in its journey. Because,
well, first of all, explain to our listeners and to me, because I have no fucking idea what it is.
So For the Valkyries was an idea I came up with, and this Japanese martial arts dojo, Tosa no Shugyo, the sensei, remarkable man, Tora Lawson. He is basically Wichita's Batman. Like, you don't know he's there, but he does like remarkable shit, and he fucking wrecks human traffickers.
And you've introduced me to Toro.
Yeah.
Oh, he's helping with the human trafficking problem.
Yeah, that's
God.
that's for the
his
Valkyries.
focus.
Well, like,
that's kind of
so that's what For the Valkyries kind of is their thing.
Mm-hmm. He was a sheriff's officer, and then he went into private investigation. He's a fugitive recovery agent, bounty hunter, and he's just a complete tactical badass. And
sounds highly trained, highly motivated.
Trained, highly motivated,
Good dude.
and he lives for solving the human trafficking problem. Or
we are the Midwest area from Wichita to Casey to Tulsa is a big hub of that. A lot of
crazy to me.
yeah. Well, I didn't realize it till I actually had a guy I played football with. Him and his dad were indicted for a big human trafficking shit.
Really?
Yeah, like 5-6 years out of high school, a friend, a guy that I knew really well. I knew his family.
I guess everybody keeps it so secret that us in the normal world.
I'm not trying to buy.
I'm
not trying to buy kids or.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I don't know where
the places are because I'm not trying to buy fucking kids to fuck.
Well, yeah, Wichita is
and they're not out on the streets being like, hey.
Yeah, like they don't have a fucking card. Like unless you are into that shit.
Exactly. And Wichita is a big problem town. Okay, it
really is. People get snatched up for that shit all the time here.
The FBI has identified like a dozen, I think, origin cities where most of the product comes from, and Wichita is one of them.
Yeah.
Here's why it's a problem, and here's why you don't hear about it much. First of all, who wants to think about this shit?
Well,
it is a super tough one, especially if you have kids, especially if you want to think about it in the city that you live in.
So unless it's being put in your face, you're not gonna think about it.
No.
Yeah.
Especially the good people. Especially the good people in this world, they don't want to think about that's happening.
Yeah. And it's nice to believe that it's not happening, but I will tell you, it is such a huge problem here. And then the other half of it is. This wouldn't look good on the tourist brochures.
Well,
we're already one of the worst tourist fucking cities in the world. Why do you don't want to advertise that we're a human?
Do you guys remember when Jimmy Kimmel gave away 2 tickets to Wichita?
Well, I will say at the end of the day, Wichita's not a bad place. It really isn't.
I like Wichita.
It's got Austin. I'm here. So, can't be doing too much.
There you go.
So that's one.
Steven's here.
Yeah,
Steven came. He came from Minneapolis doing cool shit. He's here now. So, I mean.
But the thing is Tora has had this frustrating experience of trying to do something about the human trafficking problem besides busting human traffickers and rescuing trafficked people who oftentimes go back into it because they're conditioned that way.
Yeah.
And I'll talk more about that in a second because that's also a big part of the problem.
God, that is a fucking sad part of it. Mm-hmm. That is one of the saddest parts of it.
So when I had this idea, I was like, well, Tora, human trafficking is just, it's completely abhorrent to me because the idea that you're going to make somebody do shit with their body that they don't want to do is no.
Anybody that has to do something outside of the consent for anything other than go to school and pay taxes, is weird to me when you're forcing people to do shit. When it's a form of slavery almost. And and it's buddy, it's one of the sickest things you can really think of.
It is. Yeah. It is. And so when I told Tora, look, I know all these bands, right? I can put together a concert and raise money to get a nonprofit effort going, and the things you've trained me, we can make a curriculum and tailor it for people who have been through human trafficking, sexual assault, domestic violence.
Some rehabilitation for that.
Well, sexual assault and domestic violence go right hand in hand with human trafficking because somebody who's sexually assaulted, it's easier for a trafficker to come along and get them.
Those are the people that the human traffickers are looking for.
Yeah.
A little bit.
They target a certain individual. They're unfortunately
those with abuse.
They're unfortunately getting broken homes, kids that are
foster children.
Yeah, I mean they're unfortunately really good at finding the people they want, unfortunately.
Right. So here's what For the Valkyries does. Here's the approach. We have a curriculum that is safety, prevention, and self-defense. The emphasis is on safety and prevention. And so there's these modules. First, it starts with breaking down the abuser and the abuser's tactics. Here's what they do. Here's how they've lied to you. you're not in love with your abuser, and we'll show you why. And that sort of thing,
Well, you're trying to draw them back to reality a little bit.
Yeah. And then we explain the physiology of fear. Why do you get the deer in the headlights response when they turn it on? Well, here's why. Here's what's happening in your body, and here's how you short-circuit that.
Yeah, you're kind of trying to explain to them why they're having these emotions, because they are normal. When you put people in these fight or flight and then in these like extreme instances of fear or these extreme instances of abuse, like you said, Stockholm Syndrome, all that comes into play. Like it's a lot of... and it's weird. Another thing I want to hit on is I can't believe how many people, when you save them from it, go back to it. So it's nice that you guys are trying to do some rehabilitation for those folks.
Well, an appropriate rehabilitation.
Something that's going to work. I mean, something that I hope that someone realizes that's not their whole life.
It sounds like you have a grasp on what it is and how to combat it, and that's very important. So.
Right. Well, I mean, so our program is for women, and the dynamics of abuse for women and the dynamics of abuse for men are different. And I'm not going to try to, say my experiences were like what these women went through. It's not. But I understand abuse, and I understand how it works. I've been a magnet for abusers my whole life, until I finally decided I needed to figure out what it was about me that was drawing them, and change my habits, which Tora was instrumental in, by the way.
Really?
Dude, I cannot name all the ways this man has given me a good, healthy life.
Well, it's good of you, and I will say to a lot of people, you looked inward too. Like what? Even though I'm attracting,
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, but it still is.
But what is the thing?
What is the thing? I'm still the common denominator in this abuse that I'm dealing with. What can I do to change as well?
Well, and I'm saying every problem I go through in life, I have to look at myself
too.
You know what I mean? Like I have to look at myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Are these problems self-generated?
And that is not putting the blame on the person who's being abused, because the person who's being abused
is still a victim.
It's real simple. The person who's abusing them just fucking shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But,
of course, right.
But we're not going to convince them of that. So it's like they do look for a certain type, and so we address that. We teach. You got
to try to get them out of being that type. Basically, is not accepting that as a lifestyle. Jeez.
Right.
And that's got to be tough too.
Look, I'm the kind of guy that I will see a dog being abused, and I will take that dog to a friend's house to live. You know what I mean? Like I will snatch a dog out your backyard if you're abusing it, and I would do the same.
Well, I'll call the Humane Society.
I would do the same thing if I saw the problem, but I think that's part of the issue.
Well,
Wichita, as big of a hub as we are, the public doesn't see
so
the
there's
issue.
Another reason people don't see the problem, and I'll come to that in just a minute. I want to cover a little bit more of what we teach.
Keep going.
So then we break down the idea that you're a victim. We talk about these traits you have that they prey upon, and we show how these are actually admirable, honorable traits.
Right.
So you're going to stop talking about yourself in a negative way. And then we talk about the abuser, and we have this image of these really badass men who are really strong, and they control everything, and we show how these traits that they have, we show how they're actually bitch traits.
Yeah.
And so we start there. Then we teach things
they're usually not big, strong, confident alpha.
No, they're not. They're
do
not.
This shit.
Right.
Usually. Yeah. It's usually asshats.
Right. And so then we teach, from there, we teach things like home fortification, how to fortify your home when you don't have any money. We have bounty hunters. We'll make your home bounty hunter proof, because we know how bounty hunters get into homes.
There you go.
And if a bounty hunter can't get into your home's pretty fucking safe.
Straight up.
Things like that. Teach awareness. And then we teach, how to...
Is that a big part of a problem, getting their houses broken into and taken back to this?
So that happens, and I don't want to say that's a big part of the problem, but I mean,
but it happens.
In doing this,
it is a fear.
I've seen some crazy cases. One where a guy climbed a balcony with cops parked in the parking lot to get to the woman.
Jesus,
he had a restraining order from.
And I will also say that if you are able to fortify your home,
you feel safe.
It's really a personal safety feeling.
That's the idea, because it's the idea is that are responsible for your own safety.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right there.
We're going to show you how. And so we also teach them how to deal with the legal system, because the legal system, if you don't present yourself in the right way, they won't take you seriously.
Not even close.
Right. And that's fucking stupid. But the legal system, it's basically designed so that people who are smart and know how to manipulate it are the people who are going to come out ahead in it.
The people with money, the people with...
And it sucks, but that's the way it is. So we're gonna show you how you navigate that, how you phrase things,
how you play the game, how you got to play the game to make your claims legitimate.
And the legal system, unfortunately, is a game.
It is a game.
It is, and sometimes
it's a whole trick.
Well, a lot of times the reason the game sucks is because we corrupted it. We had a bunch of fucking dumb people come in and make it such a fucking flim flam that now we can't believe anything that any fucking person says. So now, if you don't present any, like you come in with wild accusations, whether they're true or not, you've dealt with crazy shit all day. So now who do I believe?
Yep.
So it's hard on the system too. I mean, the system, there's a lot of people, and I will say, just like you said with cops, there's a lot of people that work inside that system that give a fuck and they really care, but they're handicapped by the system.
Yeah, there is
everybody in that system, they are hired to perpetuate that system. How many people do you think they employ to be like, can you evaluate our system?
It's not
Can you tell me how we're actually going?
A lot of times when systems evaluate themselves, they hire a third party company that they know.
Damn right.
And they fucking just pay their buddy.
Yeah. No, you guys are doing great.
Yeah. So I mean,
sign that check.
You're right. There is a little bit of that, unfortunately.
So there's like a lot of different issues. Another one being like if a real big effort was made to bust up the trafficking rings. Well, first of all, there's a lot of money coming from these people, and the city would have a big problem because a lot of stuff that they can fund, they wouldn't be able to fund.
The money wouldn't be there.
And then you also have...
And it's like how much of that money has integrated our politics and our policing and shit, and what is there a little bit of backhanded shit going on now? Is there some corruption now? Turn a blind eye to this.
Right.
I mean, where would that be? Where would that
how do you know?
The other thing is if you have like a real legitimate effort to attack human trafficking, well, then the first thing you got to do is admit that there's this big problem.
You have to shine a light on it.
You can see where that causes problems for a lot of people in positions of power.
Step
in this
one
city.
is going to be very hard.
It's hard to re-elect yourself on the platform that we're the worst sex trafficking city in the country. Good luck getting to be a mayor again. If you come out with, hey, we're doing terrible at sex trafficking with kids and elect me mayor. Like that, I could see how that's detrimental to your thing. But first and foremost, we got to address, like you're saying, and what I always say is you got to address the fucking problem first. We got to talk about it. We can't be a backhanded pretending like Wichita is not a hub for this shit. We're a flyover state for this that's getting used.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I mean, this is not going to really be talked about anytime soon. Our hope is, as we educate these women, that we are going to create activists and advocates, because who better to solve this problem than the people who have been caught up in this problem?
That's how it always works.
There you go.
I mean, that's the same people.
And they're invested.
Well, those are the same people that help addicts. Addicts help addicts.
Addicts help
people that have been in trauma help people that have been in trauma.
Victims help victims.
Victims help victims, always.
So hopefully these are the people that can, come hard at the city council someday and be like, no, you're going to solve this. We're going to address this.
So how do we support your efforts? How do we... how does the community at large help you?
So it started with that concert for the Valkyries. Okay. And some bands came out and played. And this is another aspect of it that I want to really emphasize. It was decided earlier on that this was going to be an effort from the extreme music community. And the reason why I decided that is because it started with extreme metal bands. They were the ones who stepped up. Yeah. It was the extreme music community that stepped up and said, "Oh, you want to do this?
Let's go.
Hey, let's go." First and foremost, I will say that the heavy metal community is one of the most supportive communities
and inclusive
in the history of fucking music. They really are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it started there, and the decision was we're going to keep it that way. And part of the reason why is because when there's been a lot of efforts to do good, and they're grassroots, and then they start to do they start to go into the mainstream, and the polo shirts show up. And next thing you know, the people who started it
don't want a part.
Aren't even there anymore. And the whole thing is when you get the people with the polo shirts, you start getting rich people, and the reason there's a human trafficking problem is because rich people are paying for it.
You dickhead.
So,
well, yeah. Well, the thing is, eventually a movement does need sponsors, and you hope that the sponsors do not corrupt the movement.
Yeah.
So, like you're eventually gonna have to welcome in people that can help push your narrative, well, and those things are important. But you hope that they don't take over and ruin what you're trying to do.
You have a great narrative. You have a great thing you're trying to do.
Well, I just hope it doesn't get corporatized.
We're to that point where we're going to start taking it above ground. We've been keeping it below ground for this reason, because security issues. These women come in with some very pressing security issues.
For real.
And these men are fucking dangerous. And one thing that, like, I thought I knew what dangerous men were, and then I started doing this, and I have seen some shit that just blew my mind, how absolutely dedicated some of these men,
some of these predators
are to getting their prey back, and they don't give a fuck. When I talked about a guy who climbed a balcony with cop cars parked in the parking lot, that actually happened. He did not give a fuck, and he had been arrested on felonies.
So how do we?
And he bonded out
in a footnote way. It seems like helping the women and getting them out of the thing is a Band-Aid. How do we really address this fucking problem?
It's a start. We have to fix it.
Like we're trying to fix it from the bottom up, just removing women from it. Like that's just a stopgap. Like, what is the real solution to this fucking horrific problem?
So really, for us, we don't know what the solution is.
Yeah,
I feel that you are fixing victim mentality.
And that's big.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that you are providing an extra level of security against.
And then they're also using
educating,
and then they're using the victims to help educate other victims. That's a pretty big systematic help. But I feel like
it's going to take a while.
If Steve and Sensei Toro can talk about how to defend yourself,
ring that we can go after.
You're never going to hit Bowser, dude.
Yeah,
You're never going to get him.
I don't want to make light of this situation.
But you're never going to get him. You're never going to get him.
But is there a head of this snake that we can go after?
You're never going to get him.
I don't have the answer to that question.
I don't either.
Not at this level.
So what we're doing is we are just keeping it at a level where we have a circle of influence. We have a way bigger circle of concern, but we know that we can only operate in our circle of influence, and that's what we're doing.
And that's enough. I mean, honestly, it's better than nothing.
But we've stayed underground because of all these security concerns, because, people don't know a lot about me, and the reason they don't know a lot about me, the reason I don't talk about my age, I don't really talk about where I was born, there's a lot of things about me that I keep very close to the chest.
You fucked up and came on this show. It's the most popular show in all of America. Everyone will see this.
I keep a lot of personal information, about my family and stuff, pretty close to the chest, and the reason why is because these dangerous men, and they are fucking batshit
They could
crazy.
use it against you. They could use it against you.
Yeah,
and they would.
And you're smart.
And they would.
And you're smart to think in those terms, because they 100% would use that against you.
So we've operated below the radar, but what has happened is, Tora is connected to some pretty badass people in private investigations and fugitive recovery and stuff. So we're starting to build that together so that we've got some muscle. And then so here's what's really cool, because now a woman comes in with a security concern, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
do you guys seek out these women, or do they come to you more?
If this guy has felony warrants, let's say the abuser has a felony warrant. The sheriff's department might go to this house. They'll knock on the door. Hey, is so-and-so here? No. Well, do you know where he is? No, we don't. Okay, well, we'll check back next week, because they can't sit out in front and just wait for him to show up.
Yeah, but if you have a felony warrant, you can search that property.
Right.
Well,
Most times, depending on the warrant, I mean, you can search that property just listening to her say no or yes.
And you would be very surprised in Kansas what's allowed.
Well, it depends on the warrant. I mean, I know a little bit about the law. There's depends on the warrant you apply for.
This is the thing. Law enforcement officers have their hands tied to an extent. Fugitive recovery agents, bounty hunters, it's a whole different story.
They do not have the
they
same
don't work for a
restrictions.
government. They don't work for a municipality.
Exactly. They are not bound by your constitutional rights.
Well, they are a little bit, but they are not.
But let's say the
guy
But they're not bound by like fucking, the city of Wichita.
But let's say the guy doesn't have a felony warrant. It was just a restraining order, right? Let's say, I guess that's what I was getting at is, so the sheriff's department goes by, we've got this to serve him. Well, I don't know where he is. Okay. Well, I'll check back next week because they're not going to wait out front.
Yeah, like you said, they don't have the resources to sit there for a fucking week and see if he comes by.
But we have people, that's their fucking job. They're process servers, So they'll be like, oh, you don't know where he is? Okay, well, I happen to know he knows these people, and he hangs out here, and
process
so I'm going to go knocking on their doors.
I will tell you right now, in every city and every process server I've talked to, they're pretty fucking savvy. Process servers are pretty savvy.
Yeah.
They know how to get you.
Oh,
so first of all, savvy, we can get that served, and that's something, If he has felony warrants, fugitive recovery agents are really good at just
when
that.
does the U.S. Marshals and shit come involved when it comes to
So you can't get them for the abuse, but you can get them for their warrants,
Oh, I gotcha.
And then you at least take them out of the picture for a little bit. Unfortunately,
you take them out for 18
months.
It's 18 months or so, isn't it?
Well, in this town, unfortunately, it's days.
Oh, well, fuck.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it's bad, dude.
Well, that's why we're a hub, isn't it?
So I'm gonna kind of like bring it back to what we're doing. So now we have these like kind of tactical operations things. It's in the back of the room. It's like we don't really talk about it, and how much of it do we have? I'm not going to say. But we have things, and we're ready to deal with these dangerous people, and so now we're going to go above ground. So now. People because like there was this concert, and I think some people probably wondered like, okay, well, where are they now? We were staying underground and we were doing this shit, and we helped some women, and it was really fucking cool. But it's time to go above ground now, and that's what we're doing. And if people want to support it, I think I'm gonna throw another concert, another For the Valkyries. And
how can people support you even if they
is there a CashApp? Is there a Venmo?
Yeah, like that's the same thing.
How do we
support this? I guarantee you, we're gonna have some listeners. We're gonna have some people, and I'm gonna clip some of this.
How do I send you?
There are some people that are gonna want to help you outside of that concert. There's some people that are going to like really latch onto this movement. I mean, I think as you bring it more
it's important.
Well, as you bring it more into the forefront and everybody knows what's going on, I think it will catch a lot of steam.
So because this is a new thing, I don't really have that infrastructure ready.
But when you're ready, we're ready to help you. So let us know.
We're transitioning into it. I know you will, and that's why I want to do this concert, because then I can have like QR codes up and all kinds of shit.
All day.
And we'll fire the shot over the bow and be like, hey, we're here. What you going to do?
So whenever you get that concert ready to go, the Aaron and Austin Show will try to support you any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I know.
Always.
So reach out to us on anything you're trying to do like that. I can't wait to help get behind something. I got a fucking 14-year-old daughter, guys.
Well, and I'm in the foster care.
And I worry about her every time she walks away outside of my sight. So.
My foster kids are the ones that are being preyed on.
They are. The kids in the system are the easy ones to prey on.
They're the ones that have already been through the abuse.
So
some of them. Jesus.
I know you guys have other things you want to talk about, so I'm going to end the For the Valkyries portion on this note. This needs to be talked about because this movie, The Sound of Freedom or whatever, came out, the Angel thing or whatever.
Yeah, they tried to silence it a little bit.
So here's the thing about that, right? Like, that is... yes, that kind of human trafficking thing does exist.
I haven't watched that movie. I haven't watched that yet.
But for the most part, these people who are being trafficked have just been manipulated or coerced or threatened into maybe we'll kill your family if you don't do this, and they're out there operating as free range chickens. They're not chained up in a storm cellar or some shit.
No. It's more of a problem than
you don't have
when you think of human trafficking. You think of like this place where they're doing it. Yeah. It's not like that. Like you're saying, it's more of a freelance enterprise than people think it is.
And so that that narrative that movie puts out there, I feel it's harmful, because I'm not saying that isn't happening, but the way the problem on a large
a lot of people think of it as like the Taken movie. Like it's like that. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's like what you're saying. It really is a manipulative based.
And don't get me wrong. One summer there were women getting snatched from the Dillons on Hillside and Central.
Oh, dude.
Like,
Dude,
that was happening a lot.
10 motherfuckers got snatched up there. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. So that kind of thing does happen. I'm not trying to like say it doesn't, but that narrative is really right now, it's being snatched on and used by, it's being politicized, and
it's kind of like you said, like kind of an artificial take of what's actually going on.
And the problem, the human trafficking problem, is it's ultimately being perpetuated by apolitical people who have already bought your favorite politician. And yes, I'm talking about your favorite politician. I don't care who you are.
If they're allowed to be a favorite, and they've already been bought and sold a couple times.
And if your favorite politician is making a lot of noise about, I'm going to fight human trafficking, they're probably one of the apolitical people who are perpetuating this problem, So I want to make
that's a proof's in the pudding there a little bit.
I want to make that clear, because like a lot of survivors right now are having their experiences invalidated because they weren't snatched up, taken to Mexico.
And, it wasn't the atypical story we hear.
They weren't hooked up.
They didn't have fingers cut off.
Yeah, they weren't hooked up to a drug machine in a tented place, and like in the movies, you're not getting. That's really not the human trafficking in a scene is not quite what you get from the movies. I mean,
I really feel like a lot of people want to back you. I feel like a lot of people want to help support you. How do we do it?
So
how do we do it?
I will have, unfortunately, like
hit us up this week. Hit us up this week. We'll put the links. We'll do that.
I will advise everybody follow this podcast, because information will be there.
Yeah,
you'll hear about a For the Valkyries concert, and that's where like people can come together and
Google For the Valkyries once in a while.
So first and foremost,
there will be a website. I'm working on that.
So I can't. I love when someone's willing to put together a concert. So when you put together that concert,
all day,
we'll promote it. We'll help you with any way, shape, or form.
Have you back on?
We'll fucking come out. We'll fucking come out.
I know you will.
I know you will. Don't give a shit.
And
I love you
guys.
Yeah. So make sure that you support. Make sure you support that movement, guys. That is something. As soon as we can get more feet on the ground and a little more exposure for that.
If you ain't behind that movement, I
got hippo eyes at you. If you
very serious reservations.
Only one thing away from this talk today, I want it to be this. Don't invalidate the experiences of people who have been trafficked just because they haven't had that dramatic movie style, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of people who have been trafficked because they've been coerced, they've been manipulated, they've been lied to, they've had the lives of their children threatened, they've had the lives of their parents threatened, and those people matter. They matter. And
guys, they really just did their best. They thought they were doing their best.
And can you imagine being put in that kind of situation? I can't. And so the more light that we can shine on that, the better. And I can't wait to get behind it. So anything, like I said, we've already said it, and I'm going to say it again. Anything we can do to help. Anything we can do to help, we're in. How can we make sure you get out to Your Band Sucks? Right? Let's circle back.
Your Band Sucks.
Okay. Let's circle back to all your stuff, because
Your Band Sucks is kind of like the big thing I'm known for right now, and I'm very proud of it. It was a hobby for a while. Cool. It was just a thing I was doing for fun, and then when I started working, working like 90-hour weeks and shit, I just couldn't keep it up. I literally had a 2-month period where I didn't even look at the site, and during that time, I changed debit cards because the bank found a security breach and gave me a new card. Yeah. So the site actually, I lost the whole site and everything on it, but it was actually really cool, because then I went through my medical shit and I was out of work for a while, and I got to build a whole new site, and it's got a lot more things, and now next week the TikTok videos are going to start. It's like Your Band Sucks is now a business, and I'm treating it like a business.
I hope so.
And
I will tell you that Your Band Sucks will help you with your For the Valkyrie shit.
It will.
Yeah.
Like all those things work together fucking beautifully. Like you can, they help shine a light on stuff. They help bring attention to things. TikTok videos and all that stuff. Man, that we're getting into that as much as we can. I'm trying.
Right.
We lost a camera? All right.
We lost a camera.
We probably lost batteries on one camera.
All right.
Which one? Because we're probably like a minute.
Well, let's roll out. Steve,
all right,
thank you.
Let's finish this. And honestly, we'll have more than podcast with Steve, and he's got to come on more than this. We got hours and hours we can do.
I'll come back anytime.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
We got hours and hours we can do with this, man.
I'm so proud of you guys, by the way. Can I just say, I am so proud of you guys. Like, you guys are really
go on.
Really boosting the music scene.
Extra
You
20
guys
minutes.
you guys shed blood, sweat, and tears for the music scene, and not only are you doing it, but you're getting results.
You know why we did this, man? Is because there's nobody promoting music.
Well,
there's nobody promoting.
How I sold it to Aaron. I said,
issue.
Aaron, you are tied into this music scene a lot. And I said, how often does a fucking group come to this town and go, and you didn't even know they were here?
Yeah.
And I said, and there's local groups that we don't all know about. I said, me and you can, let's do this. I said, I think we can come on. I said, me and you know enough people that we can get anywhere from Steven to Rudy to DJ Carbon.
We have
to DJ Carbon to a band of kids that were all younger than 17 a week ago.
Oh my God!
Those bless their little tiny Paragon hearts.
Love you.
That's what I love about this show, and I'm glad that a few people like you guys appreciate what we're trying to do here.
Well, it's not just the show; it's all the things you do. You guys set up open mics. You guys book bands.
These guys
I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot.
Aaron works his ass off on a lot of that shit. I try to help him promote all that shit as much as I can. But Aaron and John Vogues downstairs, we appreciate all the work that you guys do.
Well, you're a collective who are helping each other, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And I really believe that the Wichita music scene is going to be kind of like how people talk about Minneapolis for metal, Chicago for punk. They're going to talk about Wichita.
Wichita is amazing. Once we breach that barrier.
Yeah, let's just get let's get the fun stuff going. Get the sex traffickers out of here and have some more fun with this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much? Because this city really does have a beautiful talent base, and it just has some
talent has never been the problem.
Well, it just has some like weird lines in the sand that people draw. There's no talent agencies.
A lot of gatekeepers.
Yeah, a lot of
bullshit.
And me and Aaron have tried to cut through that from the very beginning. Like, I don't care who your fucking set is or who you are, and if you've got something passionate to talk about, we got a platform for you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think. If everybody can get into that mentality. And hopefully me and Aaron are changing that narrative.
You are sowing seeds. I mean, be patient. This is going to take a while.
Oh, yeah, we knew it. I knew that this was a fucking 5-year endeavor. I mean, and I was willing to sit down. I was like, Aaron, we'll be popular in a year.
You guys are going to do it, though. And I really legitimately believe that. And I'm so excited about this podcast. And when you guys said you wanted me to be on it, I was just like,
you're a no-brainer, brother. So let's wrap this up. Make sure that you check out everything that Your Band Sucks. Get on with that.
YourBandSucks.site.
Is it .site?
Yeah.
All right, and then we got. Make sure you any information we can get out to you on For the Valkyrie and all that shit. And I want to ask one more question before we get out of here, because I wrote it down and I don't want to get out of here without talking to you.
Go ahead.
You did say you were a musician. What do you play?
I just did vocals. Although
you were a singer?
Yep.
Because you said you were in some bands. So
it's a beautiful voice.
Screamer and yeller.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
you can tell it's a great voice.
And original music too. Did you write as well?
A lot of original music.
Nice.
I only did original music.
That's my man.
You know, I did a cover of Roots by Sepultura when I was in Mutate.
Roots.
You know, well,
everybody does a cover or two. Like like everybody gets those carte blanches. But do you write original music or not? Is always like my first question.
Original music, yeah.
So when's your new band from Wichita coming out?
So I don't.
You and Aaron and John starting a band.
Let's go.
I am, however. I've been getting into DJing. I've been learning to beat match and do the EQ transitions and shit. And I'm it's just to amuse myself.
Well, you got to scratch that musical itch.
Yeah.
Course. And I wanted to end on that because I knew it was something part of you. I wanted to know what you played.
I love pop music and I love dance music. And when pop music is done right, it's awesome because like when you have a good melody and you have a fun beat, you know, it's like
you mean like our
magic.
theme song?
Well, I mean, couple good segues in there.
It is a good song.
Not bad.
And we'll talk after. We don't give a fuck.
But yeah, so and I'm
so we have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll roll it again.
I'm writing tracks on Ableton. When I was diagnosed with cancer, it looked like I was dead. It looked like I was a goner. So I was just like, well, you know what I'm going to do before I go out? I'm going to write the banger to end all bangers.
Fuck yeah.
And I just decided, I'd always thought like DJing would be kind of cool. And I just decided at that point I was going to lean into it. Because,
dude, this guy does everything.
Yeah.
I mean, EMT,
awesome.
saving motherfuckers' lives, writing music, working hard, fucking roasting.
Basically a fucking superhero.
Roasting
Superhero
motherfuckers. I fucking love it. We're gonna get into what you're gonna see more of. Saddlebags. What are you, Steven Saddlebags? I'm just joking.
Steven Shagwell. Which, if he's 7 foot tall and everything's proportionate, I bet he's Shagwell.
All right.
You feel me?
I can't wait to do more of this show. I could talk to Steven all night.
Yeah, I'll come back when I book for the Valkyrie show.
Let's go.
Like, you know,
let's do it. And honestly, I can't. Like I said, we can't wait to be a part of something like that. Me and Aaron are pro Let's End Sex Trafficking in Wichita. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty easy thing to fucking
and not
get
just
behind.
sex trafficking, but domestic violence and sexual assault.
Dude, easy.
You know?
all of these things are. And
I have a shotgun.
Let's lump fucking child abuse in there too. Like the kids don't need to deserve that shit. So like all those things together are super easy for us to get behind. So as you are behind us and the things that we do, we are behind you and the things that you do.
Yes.
So feel free to reach out to us at any time. So
I love you, Steve.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
love you guys. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's finish this off with a.
Let's go. Theme song and a shot.
The Aaron and Austin Show is brought to you by Wichita by EB, Kirby's Beer Store, Party Rockerz ICT, and Sacred Leaf.